Hello everybody, I'm Richard Gon of Work to Live podcast version. So this time there's a chance, or you have a chance, and the inwards of the chance is it's a chance to create cults. So it's a chance to create cults, or it's a chance to establish cults. So it's a great opportunity to create cults, which is about which I'd like to tell you some stories. So why I began to say this kind of thing is because this is my understanding, but so maybe most of you or all of you use social networking services like from beginning with Twitters, Facebooks, and in my case I'm recording a podcast, or I'm recording podcast, and of course I have Twitter account, and I have Facebook account, and actually so my main work my one of my main works is a Japanese platform named Note, and I sell contents on that platform. That Japanese platform is suitable for selling contents, and it's not so little bit. So it's earnable. It's earnable. Not really. I don't know whether. So some people can earn a lot of money from that internet platform of my country. But actually, so like YouTube, there are many types of, or there are many platforms which are earnable for the users or the creators selling contents. So like which so various kinds of internet services have developed, and it's a I don't know whether it's a prime time or not of it. I don't know whether it's a prime time of the internet services or social networking services or not. But actually, social network services have flourished or prospered. So anyway, we are in or all of us are in such an era, or all of us are in such an era in present time. So predicting the future of predicting the future based on this situation, or based on the situation where the social networking services have flourished well. So I think I think it's a time, or it's a chance or an opportunity to create cults are coming to us. Such a chance or such an opportunity are coming to us. So I wrote a composition about this. So let me read that. So I'm thinking of writing this composition on the description column of this episode. So the development of social networking services dissolves the present types of communities and the relationships in them, and the next era is one for communities of religions. Successful religions are ones which can make many people fortunate. The subscribing system and following system of such social networking services are budding phase of such religions. So in most cases, you belong to some community. So, for example, if you're a student, you belong to school, or you have neighborhoods to communicate. So, in your case, if you're a student, and if you're a university student, you belong to some communities. Like if your universities have some classes or class systems, so you belong to a class, and if you belong to some, or if you join some club activity, or if you are a member of some club activity, so your club is one of the communities you belong to. And if you work for a company, or if you work for an organization, such companies and organizations are communities you belong to. And if you live in some places, so for example, so I in my case, I live in a place in this country, and this country is Japan. So in my case, the place I live in is a type of community, or the place itself is a community. And if you live in, for example, if you live in a place in Los Angeles, the place is your community, for example. So if you live in, for example, any place is fine. For example, if you live in a place, or if you live in a city or town in Texas, in state of Texas, for example, or Texas state in the United States of America, which is just an example. So if you live in such a place, so that is you belong to that community. But so in this case, not in this case, but the present type of communities are bound to geographic places, like so to live on, you have to choose some place to live on, which means so I in my case, I live in this country, and in your case, you live in, for example, you may live in some place in the United States of America, which means so you have to you are tied to the place you live in. So which is how every community goes, which means each community is bound to, or each community is tied, or each community is anchored to a geographic place, which means so if you belong to a community, that community, so if you live in some place, you are forced to belong to the community in the region, or in the place. For example, if you decide to, for example, if you are American person, if you decide to immigrate into, for example, some Nordic country, for example. So if you choose to live in, for example, Sweden, if you decide to immigrate into a place in Sweden, you have to belong to a community in Sweden, like which. So if you decide to live in some place, you have to belong to a local community in that country, or in that city, or in that town. So like which in the case of the present type of communities, those communities are tied, or those communities are closely, or how should I say, closely or strongly connected, or adhered to the geographic positions, or geographic locations. But actually, so I think internet or social networking services change how every community goes, which is what I think. And taking some minutes, I have explained how the present type of communities have gone, or has gone. So taking minutes, I have explained how the present type of communities have gone. But actually, so here comes here comes the next type of communities. So the hint, how should I say? So one of the most easiest explanation, or one of the most easiest example to understand is religion. So the familiar religions are Christianity and Islam and Buddhism. But those not those types, but those examples are really famous and really familiar religions. And you know that at least those three religions are safer, and there are many cults, or there are many dangerous religions, or there are many dangerous cults. But actually, but among those various kinds of religions and cults, Christianity and Islam and Buddhism are fairly safe. And the following subsequent so the sects connected to those main religions are fairly safe. Of course, there are many cults connected to or bound to those three really famous religions. But actually, so some sects of Christianity and Islam and Buddhism are dangerous. But actually, so anyway, but religion is one of the one of the easiest example, or one of the easiest instance to understand. So not the hint, but actually, so if you use SNSs, or if you use social networking services, so subscribing systems, or following system go. So you know how or the structures of subscribing system of YouTube, and you know the structures, or the inverse of following system of Twitter and Instagram, for example. So maybe how those subscribing systems and following systems go or work in social networking services, or in every social networking service, which means, so for example, so it's possible to create a religion. It's possible for Mr. PewDiePie to create a religion for himself, and it's possible for example, another example is, so it's possible for J Fla. It's possible for Miss J Fla to create her own religion or her own cult, because she has more than 10 million subscribers, and following, not following, and that more than 10 million subscribers subscribe her channel, and the channel is named J-Fla Music. I remember that J-Fla is a Korean singer who sings on the internet, and who does singing performances in or on YouTube. So so what I'd like you to know this time is that such following systems, or such subscribing systems are budding phases, or seed phases of cults, or the development of cults. So having that story compared to raising trees or raising plants. So subscribing services, or following services and subscribing services of social networking services are budding phase, or budding or seeding of raising trees, or raising some other types of plants. And so in the future, so letting those systems go to the future, or go along the time, to bringing those subscribing systems and following systems of social networking services to the future. So I think those systems are going to grow up and become cults, or other types of religions in the future, which is what I think. I'm not saying that Miss J Fla and Mr. PewDiePie are going to create their own cults. I'm not saying such a thing, I'm not saying such a thing. But I'm saying is that, so such systems like the following systems, and the following systems of for example, Twitter and Instagram, and the subscribing systems of YouTube, and other types of platforms are going to become cults, are going to become the systems for creating cults, or creating religions in the future, which is what I'm telling you. So like which I have explained. So how should I say? So next types of cults, or So I have explained to you that, so subscribing systems of YouTube's and following systems of Twitter and Instagram are the basis, or such systems are the budding phases, or seeds of cults, compared having such systems, having subscribing systems and following systems, compared to plant raising, or raising trees. So like which, such subscribing systems and following systems are the seeding phases or budding phases of, of trees. And here comes communities of the next era. So which means, so as I have explained, so how should I say, so budding phase, budding phase, not budding phases or budding phases or seeding phases of trees or raising trees. And here, what comes in this part is it's a trunk of the tree you or not you are going to raise, but the future is going to raise. So actually, so what I'm going to talk about is a trunk of raising tree, and the cults plays a role of the trunks in this episode or in the future. So which means there are buds or there are seeds named I forgot the name of there are buds or there are seeds named subscribing systems or following systems of social networking services. But actually what comes next is it's a trunk or trunks of trees, and those which play the roles of trunks are cults. So what I'd like you to know is that it's so maybe I should come back to the original topic of this episode. So original topic is it's a time or not it's a time, but it's a chance or it's an opportunity to create cults. So cults are maybe also in most cases and in most instances cults are dangerous, but actually why religions are necessary because you can understand it, because there exist Christianity, Islam and Buddhism. So such religions or such huge religions exist, which is why so cults are cults are, generally speaking, religions are good, and generally speaking cults are good for human societies. And cults are not only good for human societies, but also people can get engaged through cults. So, for example, it's fine. It's easier for you to understand by using an example. So, for example, of course, truth is, or the fact is that I do not believe any religion, but actually, so please imagine that, for example, I'm a Christian, and you are Christian. Please imagine such a situation. So, in this case, we are tied, or we are connected, or we are bound. We are connected to each other, and both of us are bound to Christianity. So, and if you are Muslim, and if I'm a Muslim, we are bound to Islam, or we are bundled into Muslim. Muslim society. And if you are Buddhist and I'm a Buddhist, we are connected to each other in a way that both of us are believers of Buddhism. So like which religions have abilities, or religions have an ability to connect people, not exceeding, transcending national borders or the borders of communities, which is why it's possible to engage many people. What can get engage many people bound, not bound. So transcending or exceeding the barriers of national boundaries or barriers of communities is religions or cults. So such cults and religions have power or ability to connect people among or beyond borders or borders of communities, or beyond national borders. So like which, so as I have explained, so religions and cultures have such an ability, and social network and the following systems and subscribing systems help such cults or such ability to engage many people, transcending or beyond or across national borders or the borders of communities, to get engaged into those cults or into those religions themselves, which is what I'd like you to know this time. So I'm looking at my composition. I have created before. So which is what I'd like you to know. So at last, please confirm this point, or please confirm this. So of course, coming back to the original topic of this episode again. So of course, I said it's a great chance to create, or it's a great opportunity to create cults. It's of course, there is a chance and there is an opportunity to create such cults, but actually, so only cults or only religions which can survive in the future are those which could make many people happier, or only the surviving cultures, not cultures but cults. Only cults or only religions which can survive in the future, or which is going to be able to survive in the future are those which can successfully make people, or which successfully have people fortunate. Please make sure this point. So if you are thinking of creating cults, or if you are thinking of creating religions just in favor of your monetary benefit, for example, that is a detrimental even to your lives. And of course, such a cult you use for the sake of only your benefit is such cults you use for the sake of your own benefits are really harmful to everybody around you, and including yourselves. But actually, so if you're thinking of creating, or if you really create cults or religions, not only for your benefit, but also for the benefit of other people surrounding you, that is really beneficial. That is really good for the society you belong to, which is what I'd like you to know this time. So summing up, let me summarize what I have just told you this time. So summing up what I said. So anyway, so the social, so there are following systems, and there are subscribing systems in social networking services like Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and there are budding steps or budding phases, or seeding systems, or seeding phases of raising plants or raising trees, and that those which play the trunks of those raised trees or those raised plants are cults or religions, and in the future, cults or religions which can survive in the future are those which can successfully make a lot of people happier or fortunate, which is what I like you to know this time. So I'm exhausted of speaking out for a long time. So that's it. Thank you very much for your listening. See you.